NBA. And with that promise came billions of dollars. Investors were writing blank checks, funding sprawling LA headquarters, superstar contracts, and Hollywood-level production teams. And at the center of it all was Nadeshot, a gamer who went from clipping burgers at McDonald's to building an empire. With 100 Thieves, that empire exploded. A-list investors and 9-figure valuations, the trajectory of esports continued to point straight towards the moon. But what no one seemed to realize was that this was the height of a billion-dollar bubble, and bubbles only have one destiny: to pop. Now, to understand all of this, we really need to go back to the beginning of the bubble, all the way back to 2008. Growing up in the Chicago suburbs, Matthew Hag loved to compete. He craved that rush of being on a team, of fighting for a win. The only problem, when it came to traditional sports, he just wasn't built for it. He was never the fastest or the most athletic. He really struggled to find his place on a team. But deep down, that fire to compete never went away. He just needed the right place to prove himself. And he found it in a black and green box his parents brought home one day, an Xbox 360.
Dude, the Xbox 360. Let's talk about the Xbox 360. Let's talk about it. So fucking good. I love the Xbox 360.
The first time he loaded up Halo 2, the physical world and its limitations simply disappeared.
Boom, boom. That's the 2-for-1, baby.
Here, skill wasn't about how fast you could run or how high you could jump. It was about strategy and reflexes. He devoured every competitive shooter he could get his hands on, from Halo to Gears of War and finally to Call of Duty.
And Nadeshot, he's sitting main hall looking around.
Love it.
He's looking to pick up a kill. He's just standing there still. Oh, when he gets shot.
Gaming quickly morphed from a hobby into a full-blown obsession, and it turns out Matt was actually pretty good. Soon, crushing his friends just wasn't good enough. He needed a real challenge, and that search led him to the early, gritty world of online tournaments. Before long, he'd outgrown the bedroom grind and was standing alongside some of the best players in the country.
I'll be honest, I didn't know about these tournaments. I guess I didn't really look into it much. But I guess I knew esports, right? But I didn't know like there was like local tournaments that happening for money. I mean, I might have dabbled in some of that stuff back then. To be fair, I also was playing a lot of World of Warcraft, so that took up a lot of my time.
With his team, Mob Genesis, he landed a 4th place finish at the 2009 MLG National Championship. For the first time, it felt like he had discovered his thing, somewhere he could focus that drive. It was a future Matt could actually see himself chasing. But here's the thing, not everyone around him agreed. His mom was especially worried about the hours he poured into the screen. And honestly, back in 2008, she had a point. Esports was barely even a word, let alone an industry. There weren't million-dollar Fortnite winners, no headlines talking about gamers turning passion into careers. To a parent, 8 to 10 hours a day on Xbox didn't seem like training for the future. It looked like a problem.
100%.
So his mom
100%.
laid down the law. He had to get a real job, and he ended up at the local McDonald's.
What? Homeboy. What?
The goal was to teach him.
Homeboy actually worked at McDonald's. That's awesome. Like, I'm not hating, brother. I get it. I worked at Cold Stone, Little Caesars. You know what I mean? It's just awesome to. You gotta start from somewhere, man.
Responsibility and pull him away from the Xbox, but it had the exact opposite effect. For the first time, Matt had his own money, a budget for better monitors, new controllers, and tournament entry fees. The job that was meant to end his gaming career was now funding it.
Xbox, PlayStation 3. Xbox, PlayStation 3.
And working the counter in the drive-thru window taught him something even more valuable than the game itself: how to communicate. That shy kid who struggled to find his place was now learning how to connect with people, how to be confident, and how to express himself. And those were the skills that would unlock a path even bigger than competitive gaming, beginning with the moment he pointed a camera at himself, hit record, and introduced the world to Nadeshot.
YouTube, how the you doing? This is Nadeshot.
By June 2010, Matt, now known online as Nadeshot, had become one of the rising stars of Call of Duty, and just as his name was breaking through, another force was taking shape. A team called Optic Gaming. Optic was the brainchild of Hector Hex Rodriguez. Hex's eye for talent went beyond pure mechanics. In Nadeshot, he identified a relentless drive that he believed was the true mark of a future champion. So Hex took a chance on it. He banked on the idea that with this kind of work ethic, the top-tier skill would eventually follow. He brought Nadeshot onto the team, believing that a player who wanted it that badly could truly go the distance. But desire doesn't always translate to dominance. Once it's...
That's true. To be honest, you do that with anything and you'll be good at it, you know? Yep. You do that with anything.
Inside the team, the brutal reality set in. Nadeshot was playing catch-up against a stacked roster. In the high-speed chess of competitive Call of Duty, he was a step behind, a fraction too slow.
we are actually going to start things off with Nadeshot, who immediately gets taken out.
He became the easy scapegoat in the scrims, and the primary target for opponents on stage. For Nadeshot, every match was an audition, and every mistake felt like a verdict confirming the one thing he couldn't shake. He wasn't good enough. The pressure built with every disappointing tournament result until the team's chemistry finally fractured. Heading into the 2011 season, Hex had to make one of the toughest calls a manager can make. The experiment was over. Nadeshot was off the competitive roster.
Oh, shit.
So how does a kid who can't make an esports roster go on to lead a billion-dollar industry? Well, I'm getting to that. But first, a word from our sponsor. Alright, so before we get back to the video, I gotta tell you how we're making week 1 of the NFL season even more interesting, thanks to our sponsor, Underdog. Underdog is hands down the easiest place to play fantasy sports. The concept is pretty simple. You just pick higher or lower on your favorite player's stats. That's it. Just build a roster of 2 to 8 players, and if you get your picks right, you can win big. We've been into it all preseason, and it's actually a blast. They have a bunch of different game modes, but my personal favorite is called ladders. With a ladder, you make 3 to 5 picks, and if your players absolutely go off, you can make up to 1,000 times your money. So for week 1, here's the picks I'm going with. Bijan Robinson, higher than 79.5 rushing yards, Justin Jefferson, higher than 79.5 receiving yards, and Derrick Henry, higher than 81.5 rushing yards. And you already know I'm running up a ladder with Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, and Nico Collins, trying to turn a few bucks into 500. So here's the deal. Underdog is available in over 30 states. If you want to get in on the action for week 1, sign up now and use my promo code GOLFCART. When you play your first $5 pick, Underdog will give you an extra $50 in bonus funds to play with. Seriously, check it out. The link's in the description, and good luck with your picks. Back then, being a pro gamer didn't mean much financially. Prize pools were tiny, often just a few $1,000s would be split between entire teams. Unless you were consistently winning, there was no money to live on. And outside of the diehard community, hardly anyone was watching. Esports was at a crossroads. Competitive results alone wasn't enough to build a future. To survive, organizations had to find a way to capture attention beyond the stage. Platforms like YouTube were exploding, and for the first time, players could reach audiences directly. A new playbook was emerging. If teams could blend competition with entertainment, they could show the stories and personalities behind the gamer tags. Then maybe they could create something bigger than just tournaments. That's exactly what Hex saw. He knew wins would come and go, but what could last, what could build a legacy, was a community. And to build that community, you needed someone fans could actually connect with. That someone was Nadeshot. He wasn't the flashiest player in the lobby, but he had something rare, charisma. Where most pros were quiet or awkward, Nate could talk to a camera like he was talking to a friend. He was already uploading videos, sharing his perspective, cracking jokes. His personality made people care, and to Hex, that was gold. So instead of letting him fade out after leaving the starting roster, Hex convinced Nadeshot to stay. Just not as a competitor, but as the face of Optic.
That's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. That's nice.
From that moment on, Nate went all in. He flooded YouTube with content, Call of Duty gameplay, streams from tournaments, and even vlogs filmed from his own room.
YouTube, how the you doing?
Nadeshot was laser focused on content, and as his audience continued to grow, so did the esports world.
You guys turned Call of Duty Black Ops into the biggest entertainment launch of all time. And what record did it break? Not Avatar or Batman. It's broke the record set 1 year earlier by Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Over the past few years, the Call of Duty franchise had been building bigger with every release, each new title breaking sales records and drawing in more.
Do you guys remember back when you had to go to a midnight release to get your game? Remember that? Those are some of my fondest memories. Is going to get Halo 3. Midnight. Midnight releases, yes. Going to get the latest WoW expansion at midnight because you had to get the physical edition and you couldn't just download it and have it ready to go. Nah, man. Those were the days. You know what I'm saying? Back in my day, I did that in California. You know, the weather was nice. You know, it wasn't middle of winter. It wasn't sub-degree weather like it is where I am now. Back then, you know, it was a cool 50 degrees, chilling out with everybody, waiting on GameStop to open their doors. So you can go get your latest game, Call of Duty. Man, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare. That was the shit. That was the shit. You got Modern Warfare 2, you had your Black Ops, you had your Halo 3. Oh man, I remember waiting for Halo 3. I remember waiting for it. Gears of War 2, Gears of War 3. Man. You know, back then it was dominated by Xbox. Those 360 days was just Xbox. Multiplayer, first-person shooter, third-person shooter. It was the shooter box. You had your weirdos over there on PS3 with their JRPGs. Don't get me wrong, I like me some JRPGs, but you know, I grew out of that as I got older. I do like to dabble in it. I don't have the patience as much anymore to sit there and read and to wait on the turn-based combat. It's just your attention span. It's society nowadays.
Players. By 2011, Activision was ready to turn the hype into something the gaming world had never seen. At the center of it all was a $1 million tournament, the biggest prize pool in the history of Call of Duty.
Welcome to the first Call of Duty XP.
Call of Duty XP in Los Angeles looked like a tournament on paper, but once you stepped inside, it felt like a full-blown festival. Thousands of fans packed into a massive custom-built arena to see Modern Warfare 3 early, to play paintball on life-size COD maps, celebrities like Russell Westbrook and Nick Swartzen came through, and the whole thing even ended with the Kanye West concert.
Kanye West
It was one of the craziest
yeah.
tournaments gaming had ever seen. The stakes had never been higher, $1 million on the line, with $400,000 going straight to the winning team. Teams from every corner of the world fought for a chance to play under the lights, but after weeks of qualifiers, the field was cut down to just 32 of the very best. Optic was one of them. Then, just days before the tournament began, one of their starters had to drop out. Suddenly, the roster had a gap to fill. So Hex picked up the phone, and the person he called was Nadeshot.
Oh, shit.
Nadeshot, how are you feeling, buddy?
It's a tough matchup. I'm excited. We're ready to go. Ready to play.
In an instant, the dream he thought he had let go of was back on the table. Optic breezed through the round of 32 all the way to the semifinals match.
That's going to be the win. Optic Gaming advancing to the championship match. But right now, we're going to be playing for $400,000.
And Optic continue to put this pressure on. That's going to be 2 down, and Optic Gaming with the first cap ever all alone. And there you have it. Optic Gaming is your Call of Duty XP 2011 champions.
Nadeshot and Optic were crowned winners on the biggest stage in the history of Call of Duty. In the heat of the celebration, his first instinct was to call home. He told his parents that he had just won $100,000.
Look at that. $100,000. 400 split between the four. That's crazy for gaming. Could you imagine the adrenaline rush you'd have right there? You're playing the hottest game out in front of everybody trying to win some money. Amazing.
$100,000 playing Call of Duty. At first, they were stunned, but when the reality sank in, they finally saw what he had always believed. Gaming could be a real career.
I'm going to tell your story. You're in college, but you made it very public that you worked at McDonald's. Yeah. For a little while, Nadeshot. You just made $100,000. How does that feel?
I don't want to work at McDonald's anymore.
He
Yeah,
other
brother.
McDonald's and committed himself
Hell
fully
yeah.
to competing and creating content. But
That's
just as his
awesome.
career really began to take off, tragedy struck back at home.
Look at that controller.
On the
So
morning of
sexy.
October 4th, 2012, he woke up to a missed call from his dad. His mom's health had been declining, and the moment he saw the call, he knew something was wrong. When he called back, it rang a few times, until eventually his dad picked up.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Nadeshot from Optic Gaming, and some of you may have heard in the past couple days on Twitter, if you follow me or anybody else, that my mom actually passed away at the age of 47 on Saturday night. She died in her sleep. It's kind of a gruesome detail, but
The days that followed were heavy. Family and friends gathered to say goodbye, and Matt was left facing a loss that would stay with him forever. For most people, grief can bring life to a halt. For Matt, it became a kind of engine. The pain didn't go away, but channeling it into his work gave him purpose. Some nights he uploaded just to keep from sitting in the quiet. Every tournament, every late night stream, every piece of content became an outlet, a way to keep moving forward when standing still hurt too much.
What I do want to talk about is life and how quickly it can change. When my mom first started getting sick, when I was a young kid, she had seizures, and we never really knew prior to that she had epilepsy. So when she had her first seizure, we didn't really know what it was. And as the years went on and she got sicker and she got sicker, and it just kept rolling and rolling and getting worse, and she just... Oh man, I didn't think this commentary was going to go here.
My mom was never really understood what I was doing. She never really understood the concept of YouTube and live streaming and winning tournaments. I never really thought that this was gonna come this far. I never really thought that I was gonna make it this far in gaming. And it sucks because I wish it was still around to see where everything has come, because I went through a lot of hardships. I struggled. I didn't know if I was gonna have enough money to pay rent. I didn't know if I should go back to school. I didn't know if I made the wrong decision by quitting my job in school. And there was a lot of questions that I had that needed answering soon. But when Black Ops 2 finally did come out, my channel in January and February just started exploding.
The release of Black Ops 2 in November of 2012 really marked the beginning of one of the most iconic eras of gaming.
Is that crazy that a game can make the influencer, right? Make the content creator. Make them explode, you know. You got your Ninja with Fortnite. You got your Peanut with Arc Raiders. Sometimes it's just a combination of the influencer and the game. They get together and it's dynamite. It's crazy. It's crazy. You never know when it's gonna hit too. Like recently, I've been playing Subnautica. My clips have been doing gangbusters. I never thought that Subnautica 2 would be the one that's like, hey, put me on the map, make me go viral. I never thought that. Never, ever.
Within 24 hours of the release, Black Ops 2 had cleared $500 million in sales, breaking a list of records too long to count and proving just how massive gaming had become. Around the same time was the launch of the iPhone 5, and it seemed like myself and just about all of my friends were all of a sudden getting their first smartphones. Wi-Fi was getting better, social media was blowing up, and trickshot montages were playing on loop. With 2013 coming into the picture, Nadeshot moved into the Optic Gaming house, landed a massive sponsorship with Red Bull, and his YouTube channel cleared 250,000 subscribers, then 500,000. Then 750,000, and even 1 million subscribers, where Nadeshot finally claimed his very own gold play button.
They even have my name on there. Look at that. Congratulations for surpassing 1 million subscribers. Optic Nadeshot on YouTube.
The records Black Ops 2 had set the year prior were completely shattered by the release of GTA 5 in September, earning over $800 million day 1 and clearing $1 billion by day 3. And this record still stands today. Now, if Rockstar ever decides to drop GTA 6...
November. They're talking about November. Like I said, I will be playing GTA 5 on stream in October because I have not played it yet story-wise. I have not played it story-wise. And I'll be getting ready for GTA 6. I'll be there. Hopefully it doesn't suck. I don't think it will. Hopefully it lives up to the hype. I don't know if it can because that hype machine is crazy. But I'll be playing it. I'll be playing it. That's right. That's right, chat. That's right.
Maybe that'll change. But speaking of things we're never going to see, in November of 2013, all hopes and dreams of the Xbox 720 were finally put to rest. Microsoft rolled out their latest and greatest console, the Xbox.
This is when Xbox fumbled. Right here. They roll out this piece of shit. This garbage. This DRM machine. And don't think Sony was any better. PlayStation 4 had that too. They were gonna say it too. They had all that too. Xbox went first, took all the heat, and Sony got to skate away. But the PlayStation 4 sucked too.
And this was the rebuttal to Sony's PlayStation 4, which, as an Xbox user myself, PS4 definitely won that fight. But either way, both of these consoles took gaming to a whole new level. With social media now in the pockets of just about every teenage guy on the planet, Optic vs FaZe Clan became one of the biggest rivalries in all of esports. And with Nadeshot captaining the ship, Optic would go on to win countless tournaments in the Call of Duty franchise, with the pinnacle being at the MLG X Games in 2014.
Ever since I watched Halo 2 as a young kid on MLG, I dreamed about winning an MLG event. And for this to finally happen, plus a gold medal at the X Games, it's literally a dream come true.
But by 2015, the weight of it all had began to show. Competing at the highest level meant living under constant pressure, and being both the face of Optic online and team captain in tournaments made that pressure double. The joy of competition was still there, but so was the exhaustion.
If you guys asked me 2 months ago if I was going to be making a video like this, I would have told you were absolutely crazy. Things change, people change, situations change, so I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. Basically, I am going to be taking a break from competitive Call of Duty, a leave of absence, if you will.
The end with Optic wasn't sudden. It unfolded gradually, as Matt realized his vision no longer fit within the team he'd grown up in. He had helped turn Optic into a powerhouse, but what pulled at him now was the idea of creating something of his own. Leaving meant walking away from teammates who felt like family, and from a chapter that had defined his life. But it also cleared space for the next idea, one that had been quietly building in the background. Nadeshot's move to launch his own gaming org really couldn't have come at a better time, because esports was no longer some basement hobby. It was cocaine for investors, a brand new high everyone wanted to hit of. The money in gaming had grown to be completely outrageous. In 2019, a 16-year-old kid named Booga walked out of the Fortnite World Cup with $3 million in his pocket. $3 million. Tiger Woods won the Masters that same year, one of the biggest sports events on the planet, and made just over $2 million. A teenage kid who barely needed to shave went band for band with Tiger and won.
$3 million richer.
But it wasn't just the prize pools. Teams themselves were inflating like tech startups on steroids. FaZe Clan, born from 4 guys in an Xbox party, all of a sudden got slapped with $1 billion valuation. Traditional sports owners were buying in, celebrities were cutting checks, sneaker brands were collabing on drops. Esports felt like the next NBA, the next NFL, the next goldmine. It was the Wild West of gaming, and every gunslinging investor thought they were about to strike oil. The sponsorship deals were flying, merch was selling out, and Twitch streams were pulling stadium-sized audiences night after night. It was intoxicating. For stars in the esports world at that time, it felt like the ceiling didn't exist, like you couldn't lose. 100 Thieves kicked things off with a $10 million investment from the founder of Rocket Mortgage and owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Dan Gilbert.
I don't want to beat around the bush any more than I have to, so I'm just going to say it, and then we're going to talk specifics. So, my company, 100 Thieves, has received a multi-million-dollar investment from Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, to help me build my business.
Backed by such a massive investment, Nadeshot was able to immediately secure a spot in the NALCS and sign some of the hottest talent.
That's crazy. That's a crazy amount of money. That's, wow. You know, it takes money to make money, man. Sometimes that's all it takes is somebody to give, you know, an aspiring entrepreneur a little bit of startup money, and they can make it big, make it bang. Now that was a lot of startup money.
In esports, this was his chance to take everything that he had learned at Optic and build his own vision from the ground up. From the start, Nade made sure his players followed the same blueprint that had made him successful, living in content houses, competing in tournaments, and building their personal brands online. And as a result, even when titles were hard to come by for the first several years, that formula helped 100 Thieves quickly establish a devoted fan base. The organization launched an apparel line that instantly took off. Limited drops would sell out in minutes, transforming 100 Thieves from a team into a cultural brand. In 2018, they closed a $25 million Series A funding round co-led by Scooter Braun and Drake, who both became co-owners. More rounds followed, $35 million in 2019, $60 million in 2021. That same year, they unveiled something that became a symbol of the dream itself.
That's
a
crazy
15,000 square foot headquarters in the heart of Los Angeles. And the vision kept expanding. The roster stacked up.
I'm not gonna lie, look at that building. That building looks sick. Something about the white on black, man. All black with a little bit of white. It does it for me. It does it for me.
With more and more star-studded names. The content grew sharper, louder, more ambitious. The merchandise stopped being just merch and started becoming real products people actually wanted in their daily lives. Then came the headline that stopped people in their tracks. Gaming company 100 Thieves is now worth $460 million.
The valuation by Forbes of $460 million for 100 Thieves.
That's crazy.
For Matt, it was the full circle moment. The kid who once wore a McDonald's uniform, cashing out fries for minimum wage, was now standing at the helm of one of the most valuable gaming organizations in the world. There was just one problem. This was the height of a $1 billion bubble, and bubbles only have one destiny. They pop. Esports as an industry never reached the scale those investors were betting on. Viewership was strong on Twitch, but translating that into reliable revenue streams like ticket sales, sponsorships, and media rights proved to be fragile. Teams were burning through.
I mean, let's be real. Whoever thought like packing stadiums full of people to watch people play games was a good idea? No, like obviously you want to do this from the comfort of your own home, right? I mean, most people don't even want to go to a football game or a basketball game. They'd rather stay at home and watch it. I mean, don't get me wrong, football or basketball or hockey live is awesome, but video gaming like this live? No.
Venture capital at an alarming rate, waiting for the market to mature. But it never did. Behind the scenes, the brand that once seemed untouchable was bleeding cash. Sponsorships plateaued, merch revenue dipped as hype cycles cooled. The cost of running
I know my wife saw that Hydro Flask. She probably got a little mad. That was pre-Stanley, you know what I'm saying?
multiple competitive rosters, paying star salaries, and maintaining the content machine outpaced what was coming in. By 2023 and 2024, the layoffs began. Talented staff, the same people who built the culture, were suddenly gone. Whole departments were gutted. What had once been marketed as a lifestyle empire was being stripped out of survival mode. And it wasn't just 100 Thieves. Across esports, the bubble investors inflated was popping. Valuations that once reached hundreds of millions evaporated overnight. For Nadeshot, it was personal. Day after day, he was stuck watching his dream, his people, his vision for what gaming could be unravel under the weight of a broken business model. But the toll wasn't just on the company, it was on him. He had started as a gamer, building his name by being raw, unfiltered, and always present online. But as 100 Thieves grew, he had to trade the controller for boardrooms. Overnight, he was learning how to pitch investors, draft financial projections, and shoulder the responsibility of hundreds of employees. In the process, his identity...
Dude, that would suck. I'd imagine the money is nice, but like the corporate world blows. If you've ever been a part of a management or a corporate or government job, like it's horrible. You don't want to be a part of that. You know what I mean? Go back to video gaming, go back to streaming, doing what you love. Do that stuff. The corporate stuff sucks.
Identity shifted. The daily uploads slowed. His streams lost the spark, and months would go by in silence without an upload. The fans who once felt like they knew him began to feel that distance. His online presence, once the beating heart of his career, wasn't what it used to be. By the time 100 Thieves went downhill and he stepped down as CEO, he wasn't just letting go of the company. He was left staring at a version of himself he barely recognized, a community he'd grown distant from. The question was, what came next? Because if he wasn't the CEO of 100 Thieves anymore, who was he? I like to think of life as a pendulum, always in motion, swinging back and forth between the highs and lows. The momentum might carry a stop.
It's 100%. Life is like a pendulum. You never get too high, you never get too low, because once you do, the other's right around the corner. It's peaks and valleys, man. You get to the peak, valley's coming for you. You get to the valley, it sucks, but you're going to get back to the peak. It's crazy how life works like that. And you don't, maybe it's just me. I didn't realize that when I was younger. I see that more now as I'm older. I guess when I have kids and I've been through promotions at work. I've been through, like that corporate structure. That comes with age or wisdom, I guess.
Opposite extremes. Moments of triumph. To moments of struggle.
Financial and internal for the third time, layoffs at 100 Thieves.
But the rhythm never stops.
I can't imagine that. Like, I've never been in that situation where I've owned a company and I was responsible for hundreds of employees. Any normal person would feel horrible if you had to fire people, especially if you built that from the ground up yourself. You always want to continue to grow. That's not always how it works, but that's the mindset, right? You always want to grow, get bigger. You always want to take care of people. You never want to do the opposite. You never want to shrink. You never want to fire people. But that's how this world is, man. Greedy corporations nowadays. It's all about the bottom dollar. It's all about the stock price, the shareholders. It's never about the employees, and it should be. It should be about the employees. It should be. You take care of your employees. You used to go to a job, you used to go to a grocery store and get a pension, Nowadays, there's very few jobs that give a pension. And they want you to invest in your 401k. They want you to invest in the stock market. They want to use your money to make money, which sucks. There's no loyalty anymore to the employee.
And no matter how far it swings, it always arcs back, returning us to where we began, only with a different perspective than before. For Nadeshot, that meant going back to his roots.
The last 6 months of last year were really hard for me because I thought that I was going to leave the company because the pressure of running the business was just too much. But yeah, building a business is really, really hard. And you need good people around you to be able to do it. It's stressful.
So I told them, I'm like, I need to be like a fan of 100 Thieves again, away from this stress, so I can actually trust the decisions that I'm making and help you guys make informed decisions on everything from here on out without me being tied down to the weight of this business, because I don't know what's right and what's wrong anymore.
So then 100 Thieves kind of turned into this battle now with myself, like I would have when I wasn't interested in taking photos anymore. I don't enjoy doing this right now, and I need to find another creative outlet.
I told my wife, which, you know, at the time, like with a baby on the way, I'm like, honey, I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to be losing my mind for the rest of my life if I don't try it at least once. Just like, I got to try it one time again just to see what happens.
On October 2nd, 2024, Nadeshot returned to streaming on YouTube after not going live there since 2017. But the decision to stream on YouTube wasn't about starting fresh. It was about being visible to both his core audience.
Bro was drinking a high noon right there. Let's be honest. I saw it.
And brand new viewers. And that mattered, because only 30 days later, he started streaming 24/7 in what was his first ever subathon.
Boys, we're doing a subathon. We're live 24/7 for the next however long. We'll see you in the chat.
Gentlemen, we made it! Nightmare, 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 nightmare. I want to shake your hand real bad.
Bro, what was he doing with that mic? That was a little sus. It was a little sus.
It had everything: gaming, tattoo sessions, a front row watch party as 100 Thieves, claimed first at K-Summit's Showdown 5 tournament, all of which put him on a rocket to being among the top 5 most sub-streamers on Twitch.
You guys ever seen that clip of Peanut talking about Nadeshot's wife? That shit bounces. That shit jiggles. When you hit that, it hits back.
He was back in his element, doing what he does best, and enjoying every second of it. And in the blink of an eye, it all became too real. Nearly $250,000 of revenue for the month. A number most people, I mean hell, most streamers won't see in years. By the end of the subathon, Nadeshot had his answer. Streaming was exactly what he was supposed to be doing, and it was proof that this was the future. But that proof didn't come from view counts or paychecks. It came from people. From the chat spamming messages deep into the night, to the clips circulating across social media, to his wife and daughter by his side, everywhere he looked there was support. And for Nade, that realization hit harder than any paycheck ever could.
This is some real ass shit, man, dead ass. 2 years ago, I was in between a rock and a hard place, man. I lost a lot of confidence in like the things that I was doing every day and the decisions I was making, man. And that was kind of like the first time where, with a baby on the way, I just didn't know what the was going to come next. I really had no idea where content was going to take me, man. And every single month since I came back, you guys have shown me time and time again how lucky I really am to have this many people watching and have this many people actually with me enough. I just want to say thank you, gentlemen. Seriously. This is not the best job to have when it's coming to taking care of for the next 10 years, for the next 20 years, for the next 30 years. And with every day that I stream and every time you guys sub, I legitimately find out that we can make this work a little bit longer. But for those that are really like watching because you care even a little bit about what the going on in my head, I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate y'all.
After 15 years of the highs and lows, of wins and mistakes, it was clear people weren't tuning in just for the gameplay. They were tuning in for him. The community had carried him through it all, and in that moment, he knew none of this would exist without them.
I miss her a lot. She was a great mom, and that was great.
Was that a ceiling cricket? Is that what I heard? Let me go back. Let me go back a little bit here.
That was a great day. So.
Wait, I didn't know
None of this would exist without them.
I miss her a lot. She was a great mom, and
I know. It's the emotional part. I get it. I shout out moms, definitely. Shout out. We just had Mother's Day. Shout out mom. But for reals, put a battery in your smoke alarm.
That was a great day. So. My dad is my hero, truly. I mean, the things that my family has gone through, my dad being like the head of the household, really like shepherding and making sure that everybody's good. I mean, it just means the world to me. Haley, she keeps me in line, you know what I mean? We're like a puzzle piece together. No matter how bad things get, I know that I get to come home to this. So, very significant in my life.
The fact that all this has worked out so far and the growth has continued, I really do appreciate it, guys.
This might get old for you guys, but for me, this is something that I love to do every single time we hit a milestone like this, because
It's unbelievable. You guys have changed my life in more ways than one. I mean, I wake up at a house with 3 of my best friends. Hector obviously is here too, so we can say 4. Hex is gonna be at my wedding one day.
It really does mean a lot, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the live stream later today and in the YouTube videos in the next year. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna continue to do what I love, and I'm gonna continue to do this because you guys have supported me all the way through and really have started a new life for me. So thank you guys very much, and YouTube. We'll see you fudging later.
Good video. Good video. Awesome video. Go ahead, guys. Make sure you follow Golf Cart. Make sure you subscribe to Golf Cart. Make sure you like this video. I'll put the video in the chat. It's good stuff, man. I like his content. Oh, hey, you made it to the end of the video. I appreciate you stopping by and showing your support. If you'd like to continue to support me, you can like and subscribe. It really helps with the algorithm. You can also catch me live streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick at the official Albino Rhino.